This is the first lesson in Unit 5, Stratification and Inequality. This lesson focuses on inequality. This is for Thursday, April 19th. We're going to start by setting up our notebooks in a slightly different fashion. Most of you have been doing something similar to this, but we are going to try to organize our notebooks a little bit better for the remainder of the year. You're going to start by starting on a fresh page, titling it Unit 5, Stratification and Inequality at the top center of your page. Be sure to write the date, 4/19/18, up in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Continue by doing the do now and the objective at the top of the page. As you can see on the bottom, from the middle to the bottom of the page, I have drawn a green line that goes parallel to the page and a final line at the very bottom of the page. I want you to go ahead and do this in your notebook as well. It does not have to be green. You can use any pen or pencil of your choice. But you should have about an inch over from the red line. If you want, you can use about 2 to 3 fingers from the red line to get a better idea of how much space you should have. And then the bottom line should be about 3 to 4 lines up from the bottom. We're going to use this for our Cornell style of taking notes, which I'm going to explain in a moment. If at any point in time you need to pause the video, you can go ahead and do so. If you have not done so already, you're going to go ahead and do your title and your do now. What is inequality? The objective for today's lesson is for you to understand or to determine how social inequality arises from unequal distribution of resources, and you are going to analyze the 4 methods of ensuring inequality. You may already have these 4 methods in your notebook, and if you do, that's okay. I do want you to rewrite them just to become familiarized with the format of using Cornell notes. To give you a basic idea of what we're going to be doing for the next unit, things are going to change slightly. Our unit focus for this unit is going to be to what extent does inequality still exist in today's society. It's going to take us 10 days to do this unit, which means that your exam for this unit will be Friday, May 4th. The way this unit is going to work is we will have, in addition to today, 2 note-taking days where you will take notes on the topics that we are covering in the days to follow. In the days to follow, it will be up to you to complete the class assignments. I will be keeping track of those class assignments using an Excel spreadsheet that I will put on the board every single day. If you need help with any of those assignments, there'll be additional videos to support you in that help, as well as myself walking around to work with you to make sure that you complete every assignment. Assignments will not be graded until they are done correctly. You can turn them in for me to check them, but if they are not done correctly, I will give them back to you to go ahead and complete and do it the right way. The idea behind this is to make sure that you know the information, not that you're just completing work to get it done. Here is how we take Cornell notes, and I'm sorry that the slide is a little bit blurry, but you should still be able to get the main idea. The first thing that you will do on the right-hand side of your paper, and if we go back down, that is going to be in this area right here. That is where you will actually take your actual notes. You're going to write down whatever I have on the PowerPoint, which may be keywords and ideas, important dates, people, places, any information that's repeated or stressed, any brainstorming ideas, any information from a textbook, any diagrams and pictures, and in some cases, formulas. After you're done with all of your notes, you will go back, and on the left-hand side, you're going to write down the main ideas or key questions for that day. The idea here is that you have very few things written over here, that this area is not full, so that you can take a quick glance over here to know what your notes are talking about. Once you're finished with all of that, you write a summary of your notes. This is going to be your exit ticket. I will actually give you this on a separate sheet of paper that you will then go back in and tape into your notebook. So again, if we go back to our sample page, you will have your notes written here, the main ideas written over here, and then down at the bottom, you will actually have a separate exit ticket that you will tape in that will have your main idea or summary for that day. So for today, we're talking about inequality. Inequality is when resources, opportunities, and rewards are unequally distributed within a society. There are two main characteristics of inequality. They can be ascribed or achieved. Ascribed is a characteristic that is given to you by others, so what others think you are. Versus achieved are characteristics that represent traits, abilities, and skills that have been earned through merit. These are important to note when talking about inequality because these two items play a big role in inequality. Many people are given inequality opportunities based on ascribed characteristics, not necessarily the characteristics that they achieve. And many of the achieved characteristics are overlooked when we're talking about inequality. For example, you may have two people who are interviewing for a job. Both of those people have the same achieved characteristics. However, they may have different ascribed characteristics. For example, one may be white, one may be black. We have seen over and over again that the white individual tends to be more likely hired than the black individual based on ascribed characteristics, characteristics that are given to you by others, not that you have necessarily earned. So you are going to write this information down on the right-hand side of your notebook. There are 4 methods of ensuring inequality. The first method is exclusion, and this is when you limit membership to organizations, keep people away from competing or unequally rewarding individuals. The second, disabling, is when you convince people they do not have the ability to compete effectively. The third, decoupling, is when you deny groups information about opportunities to advance through denying access to social groups. And the fourth and final is making resources scarce, which is you reduce the quality of available positions. Again, you're going to write this information down on the right-hand side of your notebook. And if you need to pause at any point in time, you may go ahead and do so. After you are finished with both pages of notes, you are going to go back and write down any main ideas or terms in the left-hand column. So I may write in the left-hand column inequality or characteristics of inequality over here. I may write methods of inequality over here. So that would mean that on my left-hand side, I would only have 2 things written, characteristics of inequality and methods of inequality. That way I easily know where to find that information. Once you are finished, you should have taken the exit ticket from my classroom. If not, you can go ahead and just write this in your notebook. I do need to check this for your credit for today. How does unequal distribution of resources lead to social inequality? What you are going to go ahead and do is go back to your notes to get a better idea of what that answer would be before answering the exit ticket or summary.